Well, good Tuesday morning, everybody. Chris Allen here live. Well, sort of on the Sam channel, live at whatever time you want it to be. It's actually almost 5 a.m. here on the Sam channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter on this July 11th, all sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace. Great day yesterday. In fact, it felt really nice. Lower humidity levels, lots of sunshine. We didn't have all that humidity, even though the high temperature got up to 86, which is just 4 degrees shy of the average of 90. It wasn't an oppressive or muggy 86. It felt pretty nice. It felt like 86 should feel, a good dry 86, and not a muggy one. Today, we'll get one more day like yesterday before we talk about several waves of rain and thunderstorm activity that's going to come in for the rest of the work week, and we'll detail all of that here in just a moment. Right now, I'll give you a look at the radar satellite. Very quiet this morning. You can see high pressure is at the southern tail of the land between the lakes and the Tennessee River this morning. There may be a couple of areas of patchy fog, but otherwise, there's not much going on. Hardly a cloud in the sky. Skies are mainly clear, and we're looking good on this Tuesday morning as you drive into work. Let's take a look at the Kentucky mesonet temperatures this morning, and we're going to find that things are pretty like yesterday, pretty much like yesterday. As far as temperatures, we may be up a couple of degrees because yesterday morning we had a lot of central Kentucky starting out in the upper 50s to low 60s. There are more low 60s populating the Commonwealth this morning. Even here in southern Kentucky, there's a couple of places where it's like upper 50s to low 60s, but the dew points are fairly low, or lower than they have been of late, and that makes it not feel so, nasty outside. But nasty is coming back, and even the weather is going to get a little nasty as we get into the end of the week and into the upcoming weekend. Here's a look at the 10-day blender, and you can see that we've got upper 80s maybe today. We could be a tick or two up from what we were yesterday. Remember, I said the high was 86 at the airport. We're looking at maybe 87, 88. But still, the humidity levels are going to be in the lower to mid 60s, maybe just a tad more mugginess in the air by late afternoon. And then tomorrow we get into the low 90s, and there will be thunderstorms coming back into the forecast by tomorrow. And then after that, it looks unsettled as we end out the work week and move into the weekend. There will be temperatures in the upper 80s to near 90, but that's pretty average. The average high is 90 for this time of the year, and that looks to be where we will sit for the next several days as we move into the upcoming weekend. Here's a look at the model map, and we'll go through the next 24 to 36 hours. The thing we've got to watch for, not today, but tomorrow, is the possibility of not just one, but several complexes rolling out of the north central plains and the upper Midwest on the periphery of the high pressure. Now, you've seen this scenario before, because when we've got high pressure that's, pretty dominant over the South and Texas and the Gulf, or in that general area, we get this dome that builds, and it's a heat dome. There's all kinds of heat watches and warnings down into Texas and New Mexico, even into Oklahoma and places like that. The heat is going to come back, but over that periphery or that outer edge of that dome, this is where storms are steered and pushed. So we're going to watch this happen as I move through time here. Not today, of course, but once we get into tomorrow. Now, you can see there's a couple of these more linear storms that try to push on the periphery of that high pressure, and they try to work south. Now, some of these will hold together, others will fall apart. It just depends on, again, the placement and the timing, all of that, whether it's daytime, nighttime, how much moisture it can pick up on, how the upper winds are steering these systems. So it's really hard to pin down just exactly who is going to get these clusters of thunderstorms, these complexes, as they roll out of the upper Midwest and then down toward the Ohio Valley. So here again, if you can remember last week when these things happened, it was that kind of a scenario. It's just one of those where it's like, here it comes. Is this going to hold together? Yeah, this one's holding together. Look out. It's going to have a lot of heavy rain, wind-driven storms. It's going to be like that. Or in other cases, these things may roll down depending on timing, and it doesn't have as much heat to work with or as much wind to work with. And as that high moves a little, flexes a little, that dome, then we could be missed by a few of these. But this is generally looking forward. This is how the rest of the week is going to go starting tomorrow into the upcoming weekend. It's going to be several waves of storms, just like you see there. Now, is each one of these going to hit? Probably not. But we have that chance of getting hit with some of these as we continue on. And here we go into tomorrow. Now, this model is showing one of these breaks off and goes a little more south. You see that one into Boot Hill of Missouri and Arkansas, and the other one kind of splits off to the north toward the Great Lakes. But let's keep this going. This is tomorrow into tomorrow evening. We see thunderstorms regenerating where there's already been thunderstorms because we get little boundaries that are set up from the previous thunderstorms. That periphery of the high pressure moves maybe just a little further west. And so here we go again, rinse and repeat, splash and dash. And some of these will start to hold together, especially as we get into Thursday. And here we go. We've got one, maybe two, maybe three. And then here's one back here that's trying to get going. And so all of these are going to kind of move in that direction. So that's why it is very, very difficult with any kind of high confidence that to pin down exactly, well, what time is that going to hit? Or where is that one going to hit? Or where is the second or third one going to hit? It's anybody's best guess, really. It's just very hard. The models with these kind of systems, hard to pin down exactly how these things are going to play out. But you can see this model has at least one coming through, and this would be, what is this, Thursday? Yeah, this would be Thursday morning around this time. That one would be coming through. So it wouldn't have any daytime heating to aid it or strengthen it, but it has enough wind-driven uplift or up, it's got updraft. It's got wind-driven energy behind it. I guess that's what I was trying to say, energy, that it's going to keep going even during the overnight hours. So this is what we've got to watch. There's no guarantees here. There's no high confidence as to when we will get hit or who gets hit. But when they do hit, as you've seen, and see, here's another one forming right behind it by Thursday afternoon. This one moves in the morning. This one moves in the afternoon. But I do think tomorrow, even though this model didn't show it, tomorrow we could have one of those in here. We'll know with some later updates on the models once they come in later today what they're going to show, because they're in these scenarios, they are constantly updating. And each time a new model update happens, you look at it and go, well, that wasn't there before, but now it's there. This is summer in the Mid-South, the Ohio and the Tennessee Valley, and this kind of stuff's going to happen. So just, take that with and do with it what you will. But I would just caution you that anytime these storms come in, they're going to have a lot of wind and they're going to have a lot of rain, and some of them could be severe. That's just something we're going to have to watch any place, anytime. over the next few days. Here's a look at the model, or the surface map, I should say. We got all these little outflow boundaries. You see, they're even labeled outflow boundary, outflow boundary, outflow. All of these things are just sitting in the atmosphere to the west. Here's where all the moisture is starting to move back in on the periphery of this ridge of high pressure. And here we go. Here's a setup for the Gulf Coast. Here's a setup for the Central Plains. Here's another system coming in from the north. And these things are just going to kind of roll in one after the other. This is later today, this afternoon. Everything's great today. We're looking at sunshine, mid 80s, a day just like yesterday. We're going to get that again today. But it's once we get into Wednesday, we start to see change. High pressure moves east. You get these boundaries that are moving a little closer to us, one to the north, one to the south, flow coming off of the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico, as you can see here. And then we just get caught up in those, driving, wind-driven storms that come in, rolling off the north and east of us and just being steered right into the area. This front wants to stall out as we get into Thursday. This is Wednesday night. Thursday, there we go. One of the complexes comes in, as I showed you. Here we go into Friday. Here's another complex rolling in the same general area, but we're going to keep showers and scattered thunderstorms in the forecast as we get into Friday. Into Saturday, we do have one cold front that will start to make its way through, but here comes another one, and this one's almost like a clipper. It's a very fast moving system that's going to catch up with the first one that's coming through. So watch what happens here as we get into Saturday, then into Sunday. They're both kind of together, and this is going to put the squeeze play on our atmosphere. And we're going to get more showers, more thunderstorms, a little more scattered as we get into Sunday with the passage of that one front. And it will kind of stall again, and this front's going to catch up with it as we get into Monday. And there you see this first front dissipates. This will become the dominant front and take over. Maybe by the end of Monday into next Tuesday, a week from today, the passage of that front will bring us another little shot of somewhat cooler, less humid air. But then this pattern looks to repeat through the rest of July into August. We may not have, the kind of summer that we look at 100-degree weather and it's just so hot and muggy. Yes, we've had those days and we're going to have a few of those days, but the pattern that's setting up and looking kind of long range is going to be one to where we keep getting these series of storms that just come in, and they're all wind-driven storms, and a lot of them have heavy rain. So I don't think we're going to, at least right now, it doesn't look like we're going to have to worry about lack of rainfall, because we're going to keep catching up with these systems as they come in. But the main thing that I want you to take away from that is, do not assume that any storms that come in are just going to be little thunderstorm. Some of these are going to be driven by wind, and they're going to be driven by lots of saturated moisture, and some of them could be severe at any place, anytime. Just remember that. Any place, anytime. That's the way these things are behaving. So I just want you to know that and not be off guard. All right, headed to the radio station, Sam 100.7, to do the morning show 6 to 10. Lots of free things to give away, rides and slides, and I've got another pair of Killer Queen tickets to give away to the big show at SkyPack on July 26th. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you. Where are you? Right there. You on the radio.